All right, what's up, guys? Here we are. Today's feature bout is going to be between the heavyweights, Arlovski, and we have Overeem. Got a pretty entertaining gameplay for you guys. The beginning of the fight is a little slow. We're going to fast forward some of it, and then we should get right into the gameplay, and hopefully you guys can watch me knock this guy out. So, I want to just take this time here to kind of talk about the heavyweight division and what's going on in there. Obviously, the title fight this January, it's going to be on the 20th between Stipe and Francis. It's going to be a barn burner, hopefully. I honestly am anticipating a slugfest. Hopefully, well, maybe a one-sided slugfest. We'll see Stipe Miocic, what he can do as far as stopping this monster that the UFC has created. And we really will see who the baddest man on the planet is. The co-main event is going to be Daniel Cormier versus Volkan Ozdemir. So we'll see on this card who the baddest man is on the planet is, and then we'll see the runner-up to the baddest man on the planet in the light heavyweight champion. So it's going to be a stacked card. It's going to be super tight. I'm thinking about going. I live here in Indiana. It is going to be a few hours flight to Boston, but it might be something that I have to do just because of the momentum and the crazy atmosphere surrounding the fight. So let's take a look at some of the fighter rankings here. We have Stipe, obviously, as champion. Francis, Alistair, Fabricio, Kane, Mark Hunt, Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov, Marcin Tybura, Curtis Blades, and Stefan Struve. So that's the top 10. That is extremely thin. I don't know. I mean, outside the top 4 guys, really. And if we switched places with Mark Hunt and Derek Lewis, I mean, the top 5 guys are really the only, sellable material that the UFC has. Derek Lewis, I thought he was a guy who was on a roll for a long time. He was pretty exciting. He knocked out Travis Brown. He was beating up on everybody. And I thought he had a lot of momentum. He got a lot of pop on social media. And then he ended up losing to Mark Hunt in, I wouldn't say an unentertaining performance, but I would say an underwhelming performance just because I wanted Derek Lewis to win. Obviously, he did get beat by Mark Hunt, and that kind of derailed his hype train. He was scheduled to fight again, but he pulled out due to back injuries. So we'll see what's up with Derek Lewis. And he did retire, and he was on his way back. So we'll see what's going on with that guy. Mark Hunt, a guy who is probably he may never step in the octagon again. I mean, we said that about him when he fought Brock Lesnar, and then he ended up coming back against Derek Lewis. But he just has so many problems with the UFC and his personal life and those aspects outside of the cage. It's just very distracting to his career inside the cage, and honestly probably a little bit detrimental when you think about, Dana having to deal with him and how annoying that he might be. Cain Velasquez, we haven't seen that guy fight in a long time. He is the next one up on the list. I remember back when he was literally murdering everybody. I mean, Junior Dos Santos, he was killing anybody in his way. Brock Lesnar, he beat up on Bigfoot Silva with a nasty knockout. He beat up Minotauro Nogueira, knocked him out, flash knockout style. I mean, he had heavy hands. He was a very entertaining fighter. He looked like he was going to be the champion for a long time. Eventually, he loses to Fabricio Verdum, who just actually got a victory over Alistair in his last victory after he lost the title to Stipe. He was unable to take the fight against Ngannou, or they didn't want to match make that, so we resulted in Alistair Overeem getting sent into outer space with that nasty, crazy knockout. So that's kind of what the rankings look like. And then, obviously, 2 is Alistair Overeem, 1 is Francis, and then Stipe is the champion. So there we are again at the top. Let's talk about the fight between Stipe and Ngannou. What's going to happen? If Ngannou wins, he is a bona fide rock star, and he is the biggest star that the UFC has besides Conor McGregor, and that might not be forever. I mean, if Dana gets behind this guy and they have another Mike Tyson type of figure for the UFC, maybe we would see the heavyweight division blast off. But who are they going to have fight him? Because if he knocks out Stipe Miocic, who has beat up a murderer's row in his own right, including Verdum, Alistair, he beat up Mark Hunt, he's beaten up on a lot of guys. I mean, who is going to be able to get in there and fight this guy? Are they just going to have to pay people to, literally go in there and see how long they can survive? Is anybody going to make it a competitive a competitive contest? Are they going to, John Jones, he would have been a great opponent for Francis, especially if he could have won. They could have had the light heavyweight champion versus the heavyweight champion in an all-out super fight, and that would be a great marketing push for not only Ngannou, but if John Jones wins, I mean, he's literally the baddest guy to ever walk the face of the planet after beating up Daniel Cormier twice. His only 2 losses, killing everyone in the light heavyweight division, making it look like, a man versus boy as far as when he ragdolled Lyoto Machida, the way he was handling Daniel Cormier, how he beat up on Alexander Gustafsson, and all those guys. I mean, he called out Brock Lesnar, but just imagine what if John Jones was able to call out Francis. I mean, that career move would be insane. Unfortunately, that's something none of us are going to get to see. So if I, got your hopes up, I do apologize. And that's kind of just how I feel about those. Right here, if we jump back into the gameplay, guys, we are going for the knockout. We rocked him several times here. He's getting some lucky counter punches on us. Like I said, he was kind of tricky to put away. But we will go ahead and knock this guy out here with the remaining seconds in the fight. He was getting that body shot a lot on me, that flying knee. But I just had to be patient right here. I was trying to avoid him. This could be a toss-up just as far as the fight goes. I mean, I did rock him a bunch of times, but he's been very elusive, and he has been, selecting some shots. Maybe he's ahead on some points. Maybe for a few rounds, the judges see it that way. So right here, we're counting down 15 seconds. I didn't think I was going to get the fight ended, but I go ahead and catch him with a nasty uppercut kind of out of nowhere. We set him up with the hands, and we finish with the hands. So you guys see there, Andre Arlovski with a brutal knockout for the fans in the 3rd round. Here we are at Staples Center, and there you have it. I beat up on him pretty bad. You guys have a nice knockout to watch. Nasty uppercut, the legs go out, and that was the very end of my combination. You guys didn't see me throw any more punches. It wasn't like he went out in the middle of a combo. I meant to get him with that nasty uppercut, and this is the result. We get on top for a couple extra punches just because the ref doesn't step in. That's not our issue. Our issue is putting these guys away and hopefully staying undefeated on these videos here. So thanks, guys. We're going to have a bunch of more UFC content. I got some NBA 2K content coming at you for those who like that type of stuff. So if you give a shit, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.